Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Julius Mbaluto Live. We are happy that you are able to join us. And it's another fantastic Saturday afternoon whereby we're going to have another chance to get to talk more about a great issue, great subject, a subject of, artists, artwork, musician, poets, what they do and what does that mean, so question is actually when you listen to a song or when you watch a poem being recited, what comes to your mind? When you see any work of creativity, whether a song, whether a poem, what comes into your mind? From what we have come to know, every piece of work you see when it's about arts, when it's about singing or poems, is great work of art. It's deep, very deep. It goes further than just telling you a story, but it goes further to pick up a lot of things. So we appreciate the work of art done, anything you ever watched, anything you listened to, either a poem being recited or even a song being sung. I'm sure any of these, number one, it entertained you. Number two, maybe there are lessons to learn. Number three, you appreciated that quite a lot. That's why today we are so privileged and so we are so happy. We are joined by two great people who have done a lot of great work. And we have Samson Otieno. His music name is Timmy Life. To his fans is Timmy Life. And then also we have a wonderful lady who has done so much as well. She's an author. She's also an artist and also a poet. Her name is Jackline Waziri from Tanzania and from Kenya. We are joined by two great personalities here. Welcome, gentlemen. I just want to give quick, a very brief moment for you to introduce yourself. It comes across better that way. We'll start with you, Jackline. Welcome to the show.
Mbaluto for inviting me on this amazing platform for the great conversations. And yes, my name is Jackline Waziri, and I am a UK-based poet and the author of Mwana Poetry Collection, and I am from Tanzania. Yes, do you want me to carry on with more introduction to myself or just that very short introduction?
We will delve into what you have done later. That's good enough for us. We jump on all the way to Kenya. Samson or Timmy Life to your fans.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for having me over. My name is Samson Otieno. I am a Kenyan based in the UK at the moment. I'm a musician, I'm a singer, songwriter, a father. I go by Timmy Life as my artist name, and Timmy Life means thank you, Mom, I love you forever. And it's basically an appreciation for the love that I have for my late mother. Yes.
Yep, definitely. I quite like that name, and it comes with a lot of meaning. We'll get to know all about it. So the viewers, wherever you are, join. Please share this link. Let us, get a lot of people involved. This is very interactive. You can comment, send us your comments on Facebook, and we will be happy to read and, share what your thoughts are on this particular issue. So we are going to quickly probably start with talking about, we focus on Samson himself. He told us that he's from Kenya. We know he's from Kenya. Great artist. He's done a lot of work. But then today we want to ask a very simple question. What does it take to be a musician? What does it take to be a poet? What does it mean even to be able to author a book? It's not every day that happens. It's I can tell you for free. I have some books I'm writing. Sometimes they take longer than you think, and the passion sometimes may dissipate. Sometimes you want to throw your hands up and you say you never allowed elephants to come inside your room, and now you are being pushed out of your small house. But in the end, something in there kicks in, and you're like, giving up is not my passion. Giving up is not something I want to do. I want to pursue until that great day. So work of art is not a joke to come by. And especially even during this COVID pandemic situation, what does that all mean? So let us talk to you, Samson. Now you
Yes.
can tell us more. I just wanted you to tell us your story. Like, we start from where you were born. A quick journey. How you managed to even your early childhood, and then we'll come to in the end how you ended up to joining or starting your career in music. So let's just start from like your beginnings, those fantastic early days. Because why is it important? I want to share with us when you see someone with a title, author of a book, you think, oh, this royalty fees, this person is so rich. Oh, musician, big celeb, oh, the money is pouring. Oh, we want to find out what is it net worthy. Is it about that, or is it a question of this journey comes from far? So kick us out with that.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. My journey is a pretty complicated one, but I'm going to keep it as simple as I can. So I was born in Kibera, which is one of the biggest slums in the world. It's an informal settlement in Nairobi, Kenya. And when I was around 13, my mother passed away, and my dad remarried, and me and the stepmom could not see eye to eye. So something had to give, and I decided I'm going to be the something that gives. So I left home, was on the streets for a while, for about 4.5 years, and then I was rescued, I would say, by a children's home in Kisumu. It's called the QUAP program, where they bring in street children, and then they try to either integrate you back into your family, or they take you to a technical school where you can learn technical skills, and then after that they set you up for a life, and then once you're gone they bring in someone else to do that. And so I was in the center for about 2 years. I did masonry, and then they asked if I had any family member who would be willing to take me in at that time, and I said, there was an aunt in Kibera. I said, if we went, she would take me in, and we went to Kibera, and she took me in. So that's how I came from home to the streets and back to Kibera. And from there, just most of my education is, I would say, informal. Most of my education was from the children's home, and most of the stuff was self-taught. I once had a primary school teacher who really, really liked me and was interested in tutoring me every now and then. That's it basically. And then I started music when I was back in Kibera. Well, before my mother died, I was in the church choir. I started singing while I was young in the church choir. But then after that, I kind of gave up on the whole church business, and so I started singing with fellow kids in the community. When you play in the playground, when you're growing up in that kind of an environment, everyone wants to explore every opportunity that they have. So I tried football, I tried poetry, I tried spoken word, I tried singing, I tried rapping, and then nothing was working out. And I remember the first song that I ever sang was written to me by an ex-girlfriend, this girl that I was seeing at that time. She wrote a song, and she was like, "Oh, you can sing. I'll write a song for you, and then you'll present it in front of your friends." Yeah.
That we'll come to that. Let's quickly
Yes.
go back. Yeah, when you say I talked about this money, and I wanted to. I'm very proud. I'm connected to you, and yeah, you are my rich friend. And you're talking about streets. You lived in street, and I mean,
Yeah.
how was it? How was it? We'll come to all these other things. We have time. Don't worry.
Uh, Living on the streets, looking back at that time, it wasn't, I wouldn't say my first few months were really difficult because I was really young. And of course, when you're that young and you're that exposed, there's a lot of things that, are happening when you're new on the streets. There are initiations. There are people who want to do things to you. The first few months were really difficult until I found my own gang, if you can say that, because even on the streets they have their own sections. They have this crew runs this area, blah blah blah. So once you're affiliated with one of them, at least you have the protection of the group. And after that, it was life. That is what I knew at that time, which was the same as when I was in Kibera. All I knew was Kibera. I didn't know about much about the outside world, so I wasn't bothered or worried about how tomorrow is going to be. So that was the same thing on the streets. The mindset was, I wake up, I eat, I sleep, and of course I take my drugs and all that. And actually, I would say my life on the streets in terms of food was much better than it was in Kibera, because in Kibera we were a big family, and yes, my mom and dad were both working, but it wasn't enough. So it was mostly one meal per day. But when I was on the streets, it was on me. If I went hungry, it was on me. I would come and ask you, if you were walking on the street, I'd be like, oh, buy me lunch, which mostly never worked, because apparently a lot of people have this perception that street children choose to be on the streets. So when you ask someone for a meal, they would suggest you go back home or you go to school or something like that. So mostly we would get our foods from the bins, or we would walk into a restaurant and be like, I'm sure you have food that you haven't sold. Can we have some of those? So I would just do that. And I had, I think, like 5 meals a day or something. I was always full. And pretty much always high. And so when the night came, it was just like, oh, it's night. Well, where's my sack? I need to sleep. And then you sleep and you wake up and repeat. So I wouldn't say it was that difficult, having been there. I mean, of course, if you give me that option right now, I'm used to comfort at the moment. I'm used to, having a roof over my head, and I'm able to afford most of the meals that I was looking, just, hoping I would try at that time. So I wouldn't take it at the moment. But looking back personally, I would say the life started becoming difficult when I started having ambition, when I started thinking, yo, but I can be more than this, I can, but I want more than this. And then that's when it started becoming challenging, because I wasn't accepting the environment that I was in at that time. Yeah.
Were there any dangers? Did you face any danger, any challenges on the street? Anything that was scary to you? Of course, forget about the mosquitoes. Those ones are enormous.
On the streets, we don't people on the streets do not care about mosquitoes. Those places are the places where we sleep, and the places where we hang out are so warm most of the time that mosquitoes don't even prefer those places. So we're worried more about other fellow street children, people stealing from you. Of course, when you're on the streets, there's a pretty much everything that you're facing every day is a danger. There's the danger of you're facing if the police decide that they woke up on the wrong side of the bed and they just want to walk around whipping people on the streets. Street children are the best targets, because who are you going to report to? To them? So there was that. Rape is a really, really big thing on the streets, especially when it comes to younger street children and older street children. That is, I think, one of the biggest dangers that young street children face, and that is both for men, girls, and boys. Of course, girls are much more vulnerable in many, many regards, because boys are able to protect themselves to a certain degree. But at the same time, I would say things like rape, people stealing from you, being beat up for no reason. If someone decided, oh, you look like an easy target, I want to beat you up. And those are all dangers that are there until you're able to have be in a clique, be in a group, be in a gang. Yes, most of the time you will have the protection of the gang. But of course, remember, during the day, it's every man by themselves. The gangs are only active at night, except the ones that are robbing people. During the day, you're on your own. So that's when you're vulnerable. But yeah, of course, I faced a lot of danger. Um, I survived a few things that, I wouldn't want to relieve, and things like that. So yeah, faced lots of dangers on the streets. But like I said,
Amazing.
it's something that I look back at and I am proud that I was able to overcome or come out of.
Yeah. Yeah, we are coming out of this bit of street, but you mentioned something very interesting. Um, stealing is someone living on street stealing from another one living on the street. How fair is that? I mean, this is not a lot of money, is it? Is it
I
happening?
mean, you're not thinking of money, and it's look, take it like this, yeah. The world governments are stealing from, especially my Kenyan government is stealing from their citizens every day. You know, that person in Kibera who cannot afford a meal has to pay tax for someone who lives in a posh neighborhood to be able to, steal it. And it's the same thing when you're on the streets. It's pretty much the same thing. If someone feels like they're stronger than you, they feel like they're smarter than, sometimes you're stronger, but then someone is smarter. Most of the stealing, when a street child is stealing from another street child, it's never really about the money. It's more about the drugs. It's about you have a fuller glue. Glue is a big thing on the streets. So if you have glue, I'm gonna
Sniffing
steal
glue.
that. Yes, I'm gonna steal that. If you have weed, if I hear that you have weed, a stash of weed, I'm gonna steal that. So it's more drugs, because when you're on the streets, you don't have a lot of money to, you get the money and you spend it. You get it and you spend it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
works either
it's
way. It's the
amazing.
same way I steal from Keshi now. When I buy 3 ice creams and she has one, I'll have two. That's stealing, but I won't tell her that. Oh, she's not here.
She's watching, now, yeah, wow. Viewers, you're listening to Samson Otieno, Timmy Live talking. We will quickly listen to one of his song, and a second part of the conversation will carry on, and we see how he kept on doing that journey without giving up, and also every moment trying to think what is beyond living on the street. Maximum respect to all children on the street. We pray for them. It's just a question of, I wish if I was given power one day, I'm like, I'll remove everyone from street and make sure they have a roof over their head. And I believe
Yeah.
that should be a dream shared by so many, because it's not a nice place to be. So just, we're gonna give you a surprise. Listen to a song done by Samson Otieno, Timmy Life, all the way basic roots from Kibera. The Western world calls it the largest slum on the planet. But I live in London, I know Hackney. I'm sorry, but that's not the story. It's a different story for another time. so, so let us listen to the first song by Samson Otieno.
Hey, no, 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 no. Oh, oh. Ha. Timmy life, girl, you're the finest. That's why you get my attention. My rate for you is the highest. And there's no competition. It's just me and you, no third party. And no, no, no. You know I'm gonna be true. There'll be no one hurting. You got to believe me. Yeah. That bite on the lip, that wine on your waist, mommy, you're a keeper. And that voice when you speak, and that style when you speak, that hype when we play, mommy, you're a keeper. Mommy, that tisha, well, I mean a cheesiga. Hey, unapo give a smile, I mean a blush. Long time you been my crush. Me off me feet, for real you defeat me. So come my way, usisleki. Utelese mukwano nawe kumbe kuwo. So come my way, usisleki. Zajagala kutwale komubanga. That smile on your face, that bite on the lip, that wine on your waist, mommy, you're a keeper. And that voice when you speak, and that style when you speak, that hype when we play, mommy, you're a keeper. You know exactly what to say, and your energy. You keep me up when I'm down. I love your confidence, your intelligence. So let me take a bite. That smile on your face, that bite on your lips, that wine on your waist. Mommy, you're a keeper. Yeah. And that voice when you speak, and that style when you speak, that hype when we play. Oh, nah. Mommy, I'm a keeper. Mommy, you're a keeper, a keeper. Mommy, you're a keeper, keeper. Mommy, you're a keeper. I'm never letting you go. Mommy, you're a keeper, a keeper. Mommy, you're a keeper, keeper. Mommy, you're a keeper. I'm never letting you go.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Wow, 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 wow. Keeper, keeper. Maximum respect, my brother. You're doing well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We'll talk about your net worth later. Don't worry. I want some pounds. I want some pounds, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's come back quickly to, yes, there you are. You are rescued from the street and you end up in Kisumu. And of course, also let us know how you joined music in Kenya now, from the street into music in Kenya. And that was before you came to UK. So let's hear it from that point.
Well, like I said, I've been singing since I was young in the church choir. And of course, on the streets as well, we used to have mini concerts. There's a lot of talent on the streets. We would hold our own concerts. We would, mini concerts. We would be singing. We would have inter-clique competitions in different things. Not just football. And so when I was back in Kibera, I was dating this really, really lovely lady. And she was like, yo, you can sing. And she was a poet at that time. She was a writer as well. And she was like, yo, I can write you a song. Let's see how you can do it. She wrote it. We gave it a melody. And then I went and performed it in front of this group we had in the hood. And everybody was like, yeah, that's a brilliant song. Let's go record it. And I was feeling like, yo, wait until I'm from the studio. There's nothing you're going to tell me. That was my first official song that I recorded. I recorded it. Yeah, no, it wasn't what I expected at that time, and so I stopped. I was just like, yeah, maybe music isn't for me. So I stopped doing music for that was around 2008, and then I did another one in 2012, and still wasn't happy with it. So I stopped doing music until 2018. Yeah, that's when the inspiration for lipstick came, and it came when I was with one of the best producers and one of the best reggae singers I know, and also a friend of mine who's a DJ, and they were like, yo, let's write a song about this. And then after we recorded it, we were like, oh, let's share it with people, let's see what people think. And people were like, oh, that's a really cool concept. Like, you're not just singing about what everybody else in the music industry is singing about. Why did you decide to sing about a woman's lipstick instead of other things? And I was like, the way she used it enhanced her beauty so much that I couldn't stop looking. And I've always been a champion of makeup. Like, don't overdo it. Don't do the Duracoat. When it's the Duracoat,
just a minute. Just a minute. Hold on there. Jackline, a man decides to sing a song about lipstick. What's your opinion?
I am really looking forward to hearing this amazing song about lipstick. Honestly, creativity, there's no limits and there's no roof to creativity. So yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, exactly what she
Viewers,
said.
don't give up. Don't give up. Jackline will be coming later after this. We are going to focus on her. So don't think men are just taking on the air and just forgetting about our wonderful lady here. She's here,
Yeah.
might
I'm
be a
here.
user at
I'm
one
gonna
point of
run to my
lipstick,
lipsticks
and
soon.
then yeah. So carry on, Samson. Keep
Yeah.
talking. Tell
So
us how you join music with the song of lipstick.
yeah, so when lipstick was supposed to be an experiment, really. It was just that something that I just was doing because I felt like, oh, we're in the studio, we're in the space, I'm feeling creative, I'm drunk, so why not, And it was a mixture of a lot of factors, and everything just came together, and we got in the studio. We wrote the song bit by bit. Of course, the producer is he's a far better songwriter, and he's been doing this for years. So he was helping me, telling me, this goes here, blah blah blah. And then we recorded it and we shared it with a few people, and the reception was so good. Like I wasn't expecting that people would react to it the way they did. A lot of people are questioning whether it was my song. They're like, "Yo, this sounds like a Nigerian song," because Nigerian Afrobeat is listened to a lot in Kenya, and especially at that time. So whenever someone had anything that was really good, it was either Nigerian or it was Tanzanian. It wasn't Kenyan. And so, because Wasafi was also, taking over the airwaves at the same time. So I was like, all right, let's do a video for it. And the video as well, when I was doing the video, I decided to, I'm kind of a perfectionist. Whenever I do something, if I don't feel like it's something that I would enjoy myself, if I don't look at it and think, yeah, that is something I like, then I don't want to give it to anyone. If I do a song and I don't feel like it's something I want to listen to on repeat, then I don't want to put it out there. I don't want to share it with someone else. So I gave the video my all. It was just like, I'm going to do the best video that I've ever done. Of course, it was my first video, but I was like, yeah, this is going to be. And then I gave it my all, and it just blew up. I released Lipstick and it just blew up. I released Lipstick in 2019 and it's still playing on Kenyan national TV right now when I was doing the tours in Kenya. So that's how proud I am, how much work I put into it. And that basically changed everything. After I did that and there was that success, I decided, well, maybe I need to do a few more songs. I did another song, Wrong Information. People are like, sounds like it's based on a true story. Tell us more. And I was like, agenda. And they're like, yeah, give us more. And I was like, yeah, now I'm giving you more. So that's basically how my journey in music started. And that's where I am right now in music. For the first time, I'm working on an EP. It's something that I never thought I would do. I was just doing it for fun, and now I'm thinking of taking it seriously. And that's basically my journey from childhood into music and where I am right now.
Yeah, no problem. We will talk about more lastly how you came to UK and your quick journey in the UK. But before that, I can't promise you, his song Lipstick is on YouTube. You can listen to it. But there's another one he gave us to play today. So we're going to play that and we'll come back. We finish with his journey in the UK. And then we'll talk about our wonderful lady. We haven't forgotten Jackline Waziri. She's gonna talk to us. Don't give up like these men are dominating. No. We are fairer than that. So Bwana JJ, it's your turn. The second song we listened to Keeper. Now we are going to listen to the other song. What was it again?
Me life coming through on your stereo. Girl, you know my weak spot. You say nobody can love me like you. Girl, you know my weak spot. We could have never ever let you go. Girl, you know my weak spot. Nobody can love me like you. Girl, you know my weak spot. We could have never ever let you go. Yeah. You're the ringtone in my phone. Like Sensi, you got me in the zone. Going crazy, you got me going in a good way. You do me wrong. One touch, you got me speaking in tongues. I can't let go, don't you run. Ooh, girl, you make me comply. Only you alone, I make me swallow my pride. Girl, you know my weak spot. I see nobody can love me like you do. Girl, you know my weak spot. We coulda never ever let you go. Girl, you know my weak spot. Nobody can love me like you do. Girl, you know my weak spot. Yeah, we coulda never ever let you go. Yeah. And you alone I wanna be with. Pan me bet me want to deal with. Umekoma tunabimi kanipa nafasi toka nikiwa chini, falling like an angel. Ulikuja ukajaza pengo, kukupenda ndiyo lengo. Itakaa mbali sana na hao wenye skendo. You know my weak spot. You see nobody can love me like you do. Girl, you know my weak spot. We coulda never ever let you go. Girl, you know my weak spot. Nobody can love me like you do. Girl, you know my weak spot. We coulda never ever let you go. Yeah. You're the ringtone in my phone. Like Sensi, you got me in the zone. Going crazy, you got me gone in a good way. You do me wrong. One touch, you got me speaking in tongues. I can't let go, don't you run. Ooh, girl, you make me comply. Only you alone, I make me swallow my pride. Girl, you know my weak spot. I see nobody can love me like you do. Girl, you know my weak spot. We coulda never ever let you go. Girl, you know my weak spot. Nobody can love me like you do. Girl, you know my weak spot. We coulda never ever let you go. Girl, you know my weak spot. I see nobody can love me like you do. Girl, you know my weak spot. We coulda never ever let you go. Girl, you know my weak spot. Nobody can love me like you do. Girl, you know my weak spot. We coulda never ever let you go. Yeah.
Wow. You know, a fantastic song about love there. And love can be such a
Thank you.
strange thing. When people are in love, sometimes they can tell each other to do silly things and they will just do it. Like, say you are an idiot. Someone says, yeah, I'm such an idiot. Or I can fly and you have no wings. You say, yes, I will fly because you said I can fly, I'll fly, you know. So yes, there you go. There you have it. And yeah, you're watching Julius Mbaluto live. We are coming to you from the heart of London. And of course, we promise we are going to quickly talk about the singing career of Timmy Life or Samson Otieno in the UK. I think on the song you saw a lot of shots from London. So it's your turn, Timmy Life. How did you begin your career singing in the UK? Or even how did you come to UK? How did you start your career in singing in the UK? And how has it been?
I wouldn't say I started my career singing in the UK. It was just a transition that I made. So first of all, I came to the UK for love and exploration. I'm big on history, and of course, London has such a rich history. And given that the UK, the British colonized Kenya, I wanted to come to the UK and see how this land of the people who colonized us is, what's better here and stuff like that. And I came here. I loved it. My first job was working at Wembley, and I'm a big fan of football. So I was like, I can get a job here and I can get a job at Wembley. I think I'm going to stay for a while. And so 5 years down the line, this is my fifth year going into six. I'm still here. The difference, music, I started music, of course, back in Kenya. But then when I came, the intention wasn't really to stay for longer. So most of my music was still done back home, and it was mainly geared towards, I packaged my projects towards the Kenyan audience in Kenya. Yeah. And then when I decided, well, this is not now going to be a thing, I'm going to stay here. And when I decided to bring my daughter here to be with me here as well, I decided that I wanted to get the audience here as well, the UK audience as well. And so I started tweaking my style a bit, like tweaking my style a bit to fit the sound that can appeal to a bigger audience, a broader audience than just the Kenyan audience that I was targeting at that time. And that's, if you listen to my music, the evolution of Weak Spot, of Lipstick, Agenda, Loco, the types, it's different from the type of songs that I'm doing right now, which I'm still doing what I want. I'm still doing, because I do music primarily because I want to do it, because it makes me happy. It gives me an outlet. I want to be in the studio, and I'm still able to do that. But like I said before, at the end of the day, I just don't do it so I can listen to it myself. I do it so that I can give it to Julius to listen to it. I do it, so I can give it to someone else to listen to it. And if this other person, if I feel like the person I'm doing, I want to listen to is not feeling what I'm doing, then I would want to package it in a way that this person is going to accept it. Because at the end of the day, the message is the same. The core message that is the same. The target is the same. It's just getting the listener. And when I think COVID hit at a very, very bad time for pretty much all artists, but I can only speak for myself. For me, I would say it was pretty much the worst time that it could hit, because it was around the same time that I had started getting a lot of attention, if you can say that. I was getting shows. I was booked for shows all over the UK. I was traveling. I was putting my art out there. People were starting to create. There was a conversation that was starting to be created about this guy. I even had an article done on me by The Guardian, which of course in the UK is big. And then COVID decided, you know what, you're going too fast, bro. You need to chill. You need to chill. And so as soon as the first lockdown hit, everything was cancelled. And of course, this is the second year, and now that means that for me, at least, I have to start over again. I have to, because music. There's so much music out there. There's so many artists out there that you need to keep yourself relevant. If people forget you even for a second, that's it, you're gone. Someone else is replacing you. And so that is the same thing that happened to me, I would say. People still listen to my songs, but it's not the same as the personal engagement when you're going to the gigs, when you're talking to people. It's not the same. And so now the task that I have is I have to start from scratch. I have to rebrand again. I have to resell myself to the audience that I had at that time. But it's a task that I am not. It's a challenge that I'm not worried about. It's something that I know I can do, because I've always been. I've always been a winner. I've always been able to get myself out of situations. So yeah.
Brilliant. Last question to you. Flashback. You
Yes.
hear wonderful songs, crisscrossing UK, fantastic. London, the capital city of Europe, for many, they like to say capital city of the world. We know that's a lie because the other cities anyway, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
flashback. How do you take a moment and think, oh, from the streets in Kibera or Nairobi to the best capital, now live in the street, but now you have a roof over your head, you can drive cars, not watch cars.
It's something that I think about a lot. It's something that sometimes, like every time I go to Kenya and I have an opportunity, I always go back to Kisumu, to the children's home. I always go back to, just give those children hope. Just tell them, look at me. This is a picture of me when I was here. This is me now. Did you see the car that I drove when I was coming in? This is my daughter. Do you see how beautiful she is? Do you hear the kind of English she's speaking? Just to show them that your current environment is not, that does not define the rest of your future, the rest of your future. So it is something that I sit down and think about, and I'm like, if it's only like yesterday I was doing that. I was sniffing glue there. It's only yesterday I was asking, people I was taking food from the bin, and then now I'm like, I can sit at home and be like, yeah, today I feel like I want to eat something that is worth 50 pounds, and I'll go out and get it. So it helps humble me. It helps me uh, understand that I shouldn't take anything that I have for granted, and it's something that I'm also trying to instill into my daughter as well. When we go back, she's always hanging out with me in Kibera. When she goes to visit her mom, she knows there's different sides to this coin, and so I try. Whenever I think of something that I'll be like, this would be interesting. Of course, I tell it to her, not in a horrifying way, but in a story, fun kind of way, where she does get what I'm saying, but also she does not think, oh my God, Dad, was that you? That kind of a thing. So yeah, so it's something I think about, but I'm not. It's not something that makes decisions for me. Right now, I make decisions as someone who lives in London. Of course, when you're in Kenya, it's called Maisha London. There's a famous phrase called Maisha London, which of course means if you live in London, then you're having the best life. I'm not where I want to be yet. Like I said, life started getting difficult when I started having ambition, big ambitions, and even where I am right now, my ambition is still much bigger than this. So yeah.
Thank you very much. You are such a great inspiration. I tell you, listening to
Thank
your
you.
story, it's
Thank you.
just so inspiring. You're right. Your current situation doesn't define where you're gonna be, and
Yeah.
that's fantastic. I mean, I've enjoyed listening to you, and yeah, maximum respect. Don't worry about COVID-19. It's happening to all of us. What we
Yeah,
are
I
doing,
know.
we are thanking God each day we are alive, and we shall have opportunity to start again, rebrand.
Yeah.
Post-COVID,
Yeah.
we do even better. So no worries for that.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll
Yes.
see you later because you need to share
Thank
some
you.
of the royalty fee to people like me who are still struggling.
See me behind.
Back,
See me on the backstage. See me backstage.
back to you are not going away, you are still with us, but now we want to
Yes, I
talk
am.
to our great lady, Jackline Waziri. Jackline, wow. Why do you say you are from Tanzania? Yet when I listen to your accent, it's better than mine. And I'm from Ireland. I'm just joking.
Ah, yes. Yes, my accent, I think it's because I was brought to the UK at the age of 6, 7. So straight away I went to school. So I think it just kind of developed that way. But Swahili is definitely at the heart of my body, my life, my soul, and yeah, that's my mother tongue.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. It was my different way of saying that. Yeah, how did you start? Of course, yeah, born in Tanzania, but did you stay there for a long time, or yeah, just how did you start your journey? Because now your journey is on
Yeah.
focus.
Thank you so much. My story started right there. So being brought to the UK at the age of 7, and
Who's calling?
so sorry. So being brought over to the UK at the age of 7, and just without an option, and having so much that I have left behind, even though it seems like a very short time, the age of 7, leaving your motherland, I still had so much memories of what I remembered as a child, of my culture, and that's how my story really started. Just me having those memories at such a tender age, and I wanted to share them with my friends and people who look just like me, and especially the African community. I wanted to really share where I come from, and because as you rightly said, the accent can sometimes um it takes people elsewhere, but I wanted people to know where I was from and this is where my creation started in poetry, just explaining who I am to young girls and young boys who look just like me, so they can have an identity, because representation is very important. So this is why I share my story in my book and in my writing.
As well. And as I was sharing, it's never easy to, do any creative work. And most of the time, when you engage to either write a poem or even write a book, is such a big undertaking. It's not easy. It's not that quick. You can't. It's not one of the things like a quick fix meal you buy over the counter, and next moment you are eating the chicken. There's a lot that goes into all this work. So, did you study in the UK? Of course, you said you came when you were in the UK and started working, or
Yes, I studied in the UK. I studied English and travel and tourism. Yes, but my love for literature is where I extended my learning for poetry and language. And yes, so I definitely studied here in the UK, but I wouldn't say that my poetry came from just reading about poetry and here and there. I believe it's something internal that it's a gift that I have, and just learning about it, it kind of just gives you more of knowledge about the subject itself.
yeah, when you're writing poems, of course, you're inspired by your immediate environment and probably things happening around there. But sometimes some poets go deeper. They're inspired by nature. They're inspired by in life, or if sometime even by history. So, what seems to be the one that drives you a lot more? What seems to be your inspiration when you're writing?
Yes, my inspiration, I will say, is um myself, my experience. So growing up in the UK and sometimes being not misled, but given the not having a representation. So that's why my voice, I feel like it's important for the Black youth and African youth, that they have representation when they read my poetry. They have an identity, a walk, and a journey that they can fit into, and that they can relate to. So growing up, we never really had much books that were, or I didn't have them myself. Maybe they were around, but I didn't have books that I could read and feel, okay, this sounds like me. So my inspiration is my own journey and my own walk to share with the African community, so that it can hopefully bring light and healing there. I think it's frozen. Can you
Um,
hear me, Mr.
yeah, yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
Yes, so my inspiration began from my own journey and just illustrating that to the world, so that many young girls and boys who look just like me can have a representation in the African community.
Yeah. So recently, of course, something you already shared with me. I saw you wrote a poem about George Floyd, the black man um, who died in the hands of police. The case is still ongoing right now in the US. I think the latest on that particular news, US government has awarded the family of George Floyd $27 million. Latest news, we also saw President of the US taking the knee in front of George Floyd's son. So why that poem? It was so instantaneous, and you wrote a poem about it, something that was going on, and is very fresh in our minds.
Yes, as I said, I like to use my voice for relevant stuff that are going on in society that affect me and affect my community. And I like to use my voice to kind of empower our people and to bring healing and light, and just to I don't like my voice to be silenced, and that's my whole point of my poetry, to express how I feel or how my community is feeling. And that's the reason why I felt it was necessary to write the poem for or a tribute for George Floyd.
Okay, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So, yeah, let's talk about your book then. How long did it take you to write? A long, many years, or just not so many, not so long?
Yes, so my book Moana, I had this vision to write my book in 2018, and that was when I just came back from Tanzania. So with everything that I saw around me, how I felt and what I saw and what my heart felt, I wanted to illustrate that in this book. So since 2018, having that vision, my book was only completed in 2020, October 2020, because I wanted to really share so many journeys and experiences that many people will be able to relate to. So since 2018, having the vision to 2020, the book being created, I think it's a lot of I don't know if it's a lot of time, but I think it was enough time to kind of put my thoughts, my journeys into writing.
And if one wants to read Moana, how do they access that?
Yes, my collection Moana is on my website, which is jacklinewaziri.com. And the book is available online to be, it's amazing. And I hope it's amazing and a source of light to our community.
Yeah. Do you want to read a poem from the book? We don't mind. You can read from the book if you have a poem. Just one. Pick any which you like. We have time.
Sure. Yes. Okay. So I will definitely read the George Floyd poem, as I believe as poets, it's our voices must remain relevant to society, and especially with the trial going on now. So I will read that poem. So after coronavirus, back to status quo, the original virus, the silenced one, the 400 years old one, severe and brutal segregated one, visible ignorance in the air minorities choke on, influenced and taught brutality, our reality, humanity pandemic, innocent blood on the innocent blood on the same cold hands, time and years on, life forced wrong, out of them, him, a true light switched off, broad day remains lit, a worthy breath blown away, countless others, ugly truth haunts, the nation's spirit choked, but the sound of the heartbeat of every I can't breathe breathes change. Sons of the sun, it's time to rise again. Chains off, get your knees off my neck. After coronavirus, back to status quo, the original virus. Wash your hearts and the same color blood we share off your cold hands. Chains off, get your knees off my neck. Sons of the sun, it's time to rise again. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Yes, I told you, viewers, we go deeper here. We don't joke around. And we want to say it's time to rise again. You know, that brings to memory, my memory, when I was interviewing the Nobel Peace nominee, Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. I was interviewing him once for BBC. He's a most well-known novelist in East Africa. It's like the Shakespeare of Kenya writing. And while chatting was like one of the books, one of my books, what really moved you a lot. And I remember the book he wrote in detention. While he was in detention, he wrote a book known as Detained. And I always remembered that stanza, that just one stanza in the book that he wrote, which was very emotive, which was so moving. And just imagining this book is coming from someone who is writing inside the detention. You know, you have no freedom. Sometimes you have to use maybe toilet paper to do your manuscript. And those words coming from that, origin were so powerful. So I said to him, there is a stanza that I remember. I think it was a small, brief poem he wrote in that book. And this is the way it is. While you are alive, don't say never. Security isn't certain, and things won't remain as they are. But when you are beaten down, remember to rise up, remember to fight on. For those defeated today shall be the victors tomorrow. So when I shared that with him, he was like, you can still remember that? And I read his novel many, many years ago. And it just comes to connect with what you're saying to us. Whatever we go through in life, whether it's oppression, whether it's those moments of injustices, we always have to keep our fire burning from inside our own self, always remembering, even if there's a knee on our neck, it isn't our choice, but we have to keep fighting in the spirit, wishing that need to be taken away, hoping to rise up and keep going. The journey never stops just because someone has a knee on your neck or circumstance have got a knee on your neck. It's time to, those knees on our necks, whatever shape they take, whatever aspects they take, to be gone, because we have to keep going. That's the only way is to keep going. And I like that poem. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Congrats to you. And it's very timely, very timely. And of course, viewers, you have a taste of what to find on Mwana. So you look at it, look it up on the website that Jackline shared. And also, yeah, Jackline is very much Tanzanian as much as Kenyan. But yes, we are global citizens. We are everywhere. We are not defined by our accents, neither are we defined by our circumstance. Like we have been told by the story of Samson Otieno, Timmy Life to his Vance. It's been fantastic having you guys, and yeah, both journeys are so fun, amazing, inspiring, and this is a kind of situation where like we want to carry on talking, but you wouldn't believe we have run out of time. But yeah, all we shared, you come again and again. It's not the first and the last. We'll come again and again. Jackline, thank you very much. Samson, thank you very much for being with us. And also we want to thank Joseph Adamson, the man driving our technologies behind the scenes, but he's doing fantastic work. So it's over from us, and we thank you, our viewers, for being with us. So we'll see you next Saturday. Julius Mbaluto Live keeps coming back. I don't think you missed. If you miss also, we're also available on YouTube. You can always catch up. Thank you for being with us. So we will leave it at there. Bye, guys. Nice being with you.